My name's James Brett. I've just conducted film score here at Synchron stage called Moonfall, another big epic Roland Emmerich film, which we're all going to enjoy later in the year, I expect. It's the first time I've actually worked at the studio, although it's already beginning to garner a really good reputation in London. Lots of composers are starting to talk about Synchron and Vienna. And this was my first time to come, so I've really enjoyed coming here, meeting all the people, the crew and the orchestra. It's been marvellous. With all these big American-style Hollywood scores, there's always a lot of demanding French horn writing, and really from the composer and the conductor's point of view, it's a key role that we have to get right. And we just had a great experience with Peter, the first horn here. He's a really impeccable player. He's had loads of solos, just him all on his own, exposed, and that can be really difficult. Perfectly in tune, beautiful musicianship. So our eyes lit up and our ears were on fire when we heard him first play. And he's been great throughout the whole score. As is often the case with orchestras, when you have a good principal, the rest of the section follows, and he had another 7 friends with him. We had a really big section, 8 horns, which is a luxury for orchestrating and composing. So we had no shortage of power. But to be honest, the lead horn has to play very sensitive too, and he was lovely. Another thing that you have with these big sort of action and epic drama scores, which are the sort of thing that Thomas has written a few of and I've collaborated with him on, is there's a lot of sustained, difficult brass writing, because inevitably the style of writing needs to be exciting, loud, dramatic. And that can be tiring for the players, over and over and over, playing big fortissimo numbers, lots of accents and swells and all that sort of thing. We've been blessed this week with a big section, really big. We've had 8 French horns, 5 trombones, tuba, 4 trumpets. I think that's the biggest section I've ever worked with, actually. And they were very consistent, and that is the key in sessions, is, you have to do the cue 4 or 5 times, and if every time it's consistent, we've got really good odds of editing it all together exactly how we need. So I have to say I was just really impressed, and it's something that will bring so much colour and brightness and drama to the score. I must say, on this particular score, given the nature of it, it's another one of Roland's famous films where basically he's destroying the world. So it wasn't very, the woodwind didn't feature hugely, but where they did play nicely. And of course, there's always a human story in the film, and that's often taken with woodwind solos and more lyrical playing. And I think you'd have to say that it's another skill for the session player, because sometimes they do sit there for quite a long time, maybe not doing anything. And then suddenly the poor old oboe player has to, come into action. And so they've been very patient and also consistent. But this one, I think, will be remembered for the big strings and brass sound that we created, because after all, the moon is a big thing. And I think it's one of probably the biggest disaster we've seen so far. When you come to a new country, actually in my case, I have been to Vienna before but not worked here professionally before. There's always a worry or concern, what's it going to be like? You can hear stories of other people who may have worked here, and it's not until you stand up and you do the first downbeat, you don't know what you're going to exactly get. Well, it was a very pleasant surprise to be here and to work with these musicians and the crew at the studio. Very efficient, very methodical, and we've been working through recording a lot of music in a 3-hour session. And lots of sense of humour. Don't let anyone tell you that they don't have a sense of humour in Germany or Austria. we've had a lot of fun as well. But very businesslike. We've worked through lots of minutes. I don't actually know how many minutes we've done, but certainly more than 10 in a session, which is a really good rule of thumb. So we've worked through very well. And another thing from my point of view, which is always a source of embarrassment for anyone who speaks English, is of course they understand me perfectly. And I don't know a single word. I don't even know the numbers in German. But I didn't need to know them. The whole orchestra speaks fantastic and follows the direction very well. So I could pretend to be a maestro and speak the universal language of music, but they're great at English too.